Hey there, how we doing today, guys and gals? Man, it is a busy schedule. I did not upload yesterday's push day video, but I did make the video. I even done the voiceover. I just couldn't be asked doing the uploading too. I had a lot of other stuff going on. So today, the current plans are to upload both videos. So I'll upload yesterday's push day as well as today's pull day videos, and I'll try to get highlight reels for both, and we'll see how things go. It is about this is a 17-minute video, and it is about 20 minutes until class starts. So I'm kind of pushing things to the limit with my schedule. But hey, you gotta send it in life. You gotta be a go-getter. You gotta walk the razor's edge, so to say, in order to have nice things and be able to do nice things, and to have fun and enjoy your life. Anyways, I digress. Today is pull day, and I talked about it a little bit in yesterday's push day video, but of course, like I was saying, I haven't uploaded that yet. But I have a little bit of a mild strain. Not really sure. I think it, medically speaking, it's where one of the parts of the latissimus dorsi, your lat muscles on the left side, it's where one of those inserts into the humerus, which is the bone, that has your bicep on it, that connects to your shoulder. It's on the bottom of that, the bottom of that part of my left arm. I think what happened, it was, I've been going on about how I'm making all these exponential gains with human flag, and I'm not gonna say anything any different. I have progressed very fast in human flag. My strength has exponentially increased with human flag, as it has with several other things. But I've talked about this before, and I'll mention it again. Your muscles will get stronger a lot faster than your tendons and connective tissues, your cartilages, and your ligaments. And so what happens is you will get so strong so fast, muscle-wise, that the rest of your body doesn't have time to keep up, and you'll end up doing something. You'll end up doing something new. You'll end up making some more progress, but it will be more than your joints are ready for. And I think that's what has happened with the human flag. I think I've got a little bit of a mild strain. It's nothing too bad. I'm still able to work out. It's just kind of that odd angle, that odd pulling angle that a human flag puts on your lats that is different from the angle when you do a regular pull-up. Anyways, with that in mind, you always have to listen to your body. Sometimes you need to be humble, and you need to realize that you need to take things down a notch or two. And that is what I am implementing today on pull day. I'm not skipping pull day. I'm not working out today. Not. But I figured today on pull day, I was going to progress very slowly. I'm just kind of feeling things out, seeing, if that spot on my arm is going to let me do the things I typically do. And things felt pretty good for the most part. There was a couple times it was like, hey, yeah, that's enough. But for the most part, things went well. Now that being said, on my working sets today, I did not wear the weight vest. Instead, I dropped to body weight, and I really focused just the absolute highest quality reps and time under tension. Anyways, I even still train these one-arm pull-ups. I'm being careful not to put too much of the pulling force on that dominant arm. I'm putting a little bit more of the force on the assisting arm, just to keep things easy, or easier, should I say, than I normally do. And, a lot of people think you have to train really hard. You have to push your body to the absolute limit. You have to always be cranking up intensities. And, I think I strongly disagree. After, my 15-ish, 16-ish years of experience, if you can, take this one-arm pull-up, for example, and I just explained as to how I've turned down the intensity. I'm putting more of the force on the assisting arm, but that's giving me more time to focus on technique and focus on properly engaging my muscles. And look at the height that I'm able to get in this position today without it causing irritation in my elbow, which has been a recent limiting factor to the height that I've been getting on these one-arm pull-ups, because my left elbow hasn't wanted to bend past 90 degrees. But look at this, I'm going slow, pretty much tapping the opposite shoulder to the bar or coming really close to it. So that is just a lot better rep quality. I may not be pulling quite as much force with that dominant pulling arm, but this is really allowing me to focus on the technique, really allowing me to focus, look at that, on the rep quality. And I promise you that rep quality and making sure that things are properly engaged, making sure that your joints are doing what they're supposed to do, your muscles are doing what they're supposed to do, and just increasing your familiarity with these various movements will get you so much further than trying to push your body pretty much to the breaking point. Decided to try a full body weight ring muscle up, and I decided I was going to try to do it from a complete dead hang. And I had been holding off on those because of the left elbow situation, and I'd been holding off on slow muscle up because of the left elbow situation. But I decided I would try, not necessarily slow, but going fast through those movements so that it didn't put quite as much pressure on those connective tissues. It worked pretty well on the rings, but on the bar it just wasn't happening. So I had to switch to more of a dynamic muscle up and just focus on the technique. Anyways, here are those body weight pull-ups. Look, first thing is first, I am establishing a very, confident position, and then I'm pulling as high as I possibly can. I'm probably getting my chest above the bar on these, at least when I first start out. Now, you'll notice as the reps go on, the quality declines, and interestingly enough, I was not even counting my reps here. I was counting the descent time. I was aiming for around 3 seconds descent time. And I think I ended up somewhere around 8 reps. I don't remember if that included these negatives or not. But I really focused, since I dropped the weight vest, I'm just at body weight. Really focused on getting a good semi-false grip, getting really high at the top of these pull-ups. High in the position, of course, and not high in reference to any sort of illegal substances, if you know what I'm saying. So at the end of your working sets, I always recommend that you do some sort of negative movement. Today, since I was just at body weight, I done 2 negatives, and I don't have to say a whole bunch of stuff, just short and sweet. I really, really hammered rep quality on these working sets today. I figured if I'm going to have less resistance to overcome, I am going to make sure that I get the most out of each rep. And, you'll probably have those people that are like, oh, he didn't even hit 10 pull-ups, or, oh, I can do more pull-ups than that. Well, yeah, and so can I. But you have to ask yourself at the end of the day, how good are your pull-ups? Like, are you doing those little partial reps where you're doing half reps, you're not even getting your chin to the bar? Are you going straight up and then dropping and like not resisting the negative portion of the movement at all? You have to check your ego at the end of the day and ask yourself, how good is the effort that you're putting in to what you're doing? Today, like I said, I had that, I guess you'd call it some sort of an injury. It's very minor though, obviously I'm still able to work out. But I wanted to take it easier, and that allowed me to work on rep quality. And I will always argue, I will always debate, that rep quality is so much more important than rep quantity. Anyways, I think that about wraps up those two sets. And, like I was saying, that rep quality is important, and you could see that I was definitely feeling the effects of those pull-ups, despite those being, a lot easier pull-ups, finger quotations, finger quotations, easier pull-ups than the weighted pull-ups that I normally do. Rep quality, time under tension, focusing techniques, and prioritizing, like again, rep quality. That is what builds incredible levels of strength, and that's what protects your body in the long run. Here I'm trying some body weight rows, and I decided to start out with the band today on these because again, I'm trying to take it a little bit easier, trying to be nice to my body so that it can make a nice recovery instead of making this minor injury into a severe injury. I want the minor injury to go away, instead of making it worse. And if you're careful about what you're doing, you can still work out with an injury. Not all injuries, don't get me wrong. Some injuries you need to stop working out and take it easy, and that will be decided by a medical professional. But if it's something just very minor, like a minor cramp or something, if you take it easy and dial back the intensity of what you're doing a couple stages and just work on that rep quality, I think you'll be pretty safe. So here, I think it's the second time I'm doing these here in recent times. I'm adding some ring curls in at the end of my working sets. I guess this is technically the third working set, but this is just meant to help strengthen the biceps. And again, this is a great example. The intensity here is low, but what this is doing is allowing me to practice engaging those bicep muscles properly. And again, time under tension, that's what builds the muscles. That's what builds incredible strength, and that's what keeps you safe while you're doing it. So that's what's happening here. I'm sure I could pull, a lot more force with my biceps, but you don't have to. You don't have to do that. Just take it slow, pace yourself, and work on those techniques, work on that rep quality. And I promise you from the deepest depths of my heart, that is what will help you build incredible strength and stay safe at the same time. Alrighty, I think we're coming towards the end of pull day. Now it's time to stretch out. I got about 6 minutes until class starts, and I'll see if I can finish up this voiceover and then run to my main computer to to start class. And I'll either upload these videos while I'm sitting in class, depending on how class is going, if we're busy or not, or I may wait and upload these later. Here's a little shot of the body composition. You do not have to be an Olympic athlete to do this stuff, as I have said many times. I grew up obese, and I just started working out one day, and just have to work on one thing at a time. Don't try and make everything perfect in one day, or even 1 week, or even 1 year. Just focus on one thing at a time. Prioritize your safety and prioritize your well-being. Make sure you're happy doing what you're doing, and yeah, that's what life is all about. Gotta stay happy, and yeah. Anyways, I could still kind of feel that that area I was talking about earlier, where things were a little bit kind of tight in my left arm. That I feel like I had that strain. It didn't really bother me too bad doing the things I done today, but like I said, there was a few times I got into some different positions where it kind of was like, hey, that's far enough, like don't push me any further. And younger me would have been like, oh, you got to power through it. You're not going to make gains unless you push yourself. And older, wiser me, older and wiser with experience, and not just assuming that I am wiser because I'm older, would tell you, do not do that. And like I've said, listen to your body, listen to those red flags. We feel pain for a reason. But that's about all I had for today. Hopefully this vlog was helpful. Hopefully you can learn something to benefit yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. Happy training, and take care, guys and gals. Bye-bye.